Welcome to Shelter Stories. It's where we share with you some of the amazing stories of the dogs inside Dumaguete Animal Sanctuary. This week, we're going to share with you Marley's story. We found Marley collapsed by the side of the road, unable to walk. We're going to introduce you to Frodo, who seemed to be just waiting to be rescued. We're going to tell you the amazing recovery story of Suki, and we're going to say a heartbreaking farewell to Myrtle. So let's start with Marley's story.
Sunday morning, a call comes in. A member of the public has just seen a dog struggling to walk beside a busy road in Zambongita, just outside Dumaguete. We searched the road, we searched the side road, we searched outbuildings, and then Rena came over on the radio. She'd found the dog.
Lying in the hot midday sun, breathing heavily, clearly malnourished and unable to move. We assumed he'd been hit by a car. Rudlin and Angel carefully placed a towel beside him and gently rolled him over onto it. From there, we loaded him into the vehicle and we took him back to the shelter. Once we were back at the shelter, the medical checks began. Blood tests, swabs, parasite checks. And the encouraging news was that Marley was moving his back legs. When dogs are hit by vehicles, paralysis is all too common. Some dogs recover the ability to walk, many don't. So seeing movement in his back legs was a very positive sign. After we checked him over, Marley was settled into the clinic where he could rest and begin treatment. We'll come back to Marley later in the episode to see how he's getting on.
Myrtle's rescue began a little differently. Staff members had spotted a dog on the side of the road when they were out on their morning run. The dog was clearly unwell. When the sighting was reported back to the shelter, the rescue team was sent out to find her. One of the biggest challenges in a dog rescue is often the search itself. A dog may be seen in one location, but by the time we arrive, they've usually moved on, and Myrtle was no different. Myrtle had been spotted by a busy road, but had run off into a wooded area. She was a dark-coloured dog, and looking for a dark dog in a dark wooded area was never going to be easy. We checked the paths, the open ground, the nearby houses, hoping to spot her somewhere, and for a while it looked like we'd come up empty-handed. Then, just as we were about to leave, a local resident told us he'd seen a dog he didn't recognise near his home that morning. He led us through the neighbourhood, through the houses, the motorcycles, the pots and pans, the wandering dogs, and towards the place where he'd last seen her. And there she was, lying quietly in the shade beneath a motorcycle. She looked exhausted, weak, and very unwell. Angel approached slowly and gently placed a leash around her neck. There was no struggle, no attempt to run away. Myrtle simply seemed too tired. We carefully picked her up and carried her back to the vehicle. For the first time in a long time, she was on her way to somewhere safe. Back at the shelter, Myrtle received a full medical assessment. The usual blood tests, swabs, parasite checks, and it was clear that she was an elderly dog and her body showed signs of a difficult life. She'd probably spent many years in discomfort and pain, problems that had gone untreated for years. For the next few days, Myrtle received food, shelter, medical care, and plenty of love and attention from all the staff. Then, unexpectedly, one morning after she'd been given her breakfast, Myrtle passed away just 10 days after arriving at the sanctuary. We don't know much about her life before she was rescued, but we do know that she spent her final days somewhere safe, being looked after and surrounded by people who cared about her. And that matters, and that's why we do what we do. While Myrtle's story came to an end, another rescue story was just beginning. When the team arrived, they found Frodo standing quietly in the middle of the road. His head was lowered and tilted slightly to the side, and it was immediately clear that something wasn't right. As Rena approached, Frodo didn't run away. He didn't back off. Instead, he slowly walked towards her. It was almost as if he knew help had arrived. When he got close enough, he gently rested his head in Rena's hand. A closer look revealed a large tumour that had changed the shape of his head. Despite what he was going through, Frodo remained calm and gentle throughout the rescue. Rena carefully picked him up and carried him to the waiting crate. There was no struggle, there was no search, there was no resistance, just a dog allowing himself to be helped. With Frodo safely secured, the team began the journey back to the shelter. Like many rescue dogs, we still don't know exactly what the future holds for him, but now he has something he didn't have before. Medical care, safety, love, attention, and a team determined to give him a chance. We only rescued Frodo a few days ago, so his story is still being written. Over the coming weeks, we'll be following his progress and sharing updates on his recovery. But not every rescue story leaves us waiting for the outcome. Sometimes, against the odds, a dog surprises everyone. And that's exactly what happened with Suki. When Suki arrived at the shelter, her condition was critical. This photograph was taken shortly after she was hit by a vehicle. A member of the public found her and rushed her to the sanctuary on his motorcycle. By the time she arrived, she was unconscious, barely responsive, and fighting for her life. The team immediately began treatment. Suki was moved into the clinic where she could receive constant care and monitoring. Fluids were administered, her injuries were cleaned, and the team did everything they could to keep her comfortable. At this stage, nobody knew whether she'd survive. She wasn't moving, she wasn't responding, and we didn't know what internal injuries she had. All we could do was wait and hope. But over the following days, something remarkable happened. The dog that had arrived unconscious and critically injured was soon back on her feet, and before long she was running around the shelter like a completely different dog. Today Suki is healthy, active, and enjoying life again. She's a reminder that even when the situation looks hopeless, recovery is sometimes possible. And for everyone involved in rescue work, Those are the moments that never get old. But before we finish, let's go back to Marley. When we first found him, he was lying beside a busy road, unable to stand, unable to move, and we feared he may have been the victim of a road traffic accident. Thankfully, further examination suggested something different. Marley wasn't suffering from injuries consistent with being hit by a vehicle. He was suffering from severe malnutrition. Quite simply, his body was running out of strength. Today, Marley is back on his feet. He's weak and he's still got a long way to go, but he's standing and he's trying to walk. And that's a huge step forward from where he was when we found him. Over the coming weeks, we'll continue to build up his strength with good food, medical care, and plenty of rest. Recovery takes time, but Marley has already shown us he's not ready to give up. And perhaps the best part is that he won't be making that journey alone. Like every dog that arrives here, Marley is now surrounded by people who care about him, and by other dogs who seem keen to welcome him into the family. For a dog who arrived with so little strength left, that's a pretty good place to start. And that's exactly what rescue is all about. A second chance.
Every dog you've seen in this episode arrived at the sanctuary needing help. Some are still recovering, some are just beginning their journey, and sadly, as we've seen, not every story gets the ending we'd hoped for. But rescue is about giving dogs a chance to recover, a chance to be loved, and a chance to find the future they deserve. Dogs like Suki, who arrived here unconscious and is now running around the fields. Dogs like Marley, who's taking his first steps. And dogs like Frodo, whose story is only just beginning. So if you'd like to follow their journeys and the journeys of all the other dogs here at the sanctuary, then please consider subscribing. Because every subscriber helps us reach more people, and that helps us find homes for dogs that need them. And that in turn helps us continue rescuing dogs with nowhere else to turn. Every dog here has a story. Thank you for being part of theirs.